no one is ever going to give a shit about you, even 1% as much as you have to give a shit about yourself. No one cares. No one cares about you if you're a man, ever. Everything is conditional. You don't get loved unconditionally, and that's a beautiful thing because that makes you strive to create your own value as a man. And the problem that men have is we all go from a time when everyone cares about us to a time no one does. They all cared about me back then. Then you get to 16, 17, 18, you're out in the cold world and you're like, no one gives a fuck, do they? I can't pay my bills. I have no food. Nobody cares. Yeah, your mother and your father will care a little bit, but you have to care about them. So I'd say the duty of protection is the other way around once you become an adult. So the best advice every young man needs to hear is nobody gives a shit about you at all until you make them give.
You know, when you're built different than everybody else and you have this desire for more and this desire for achievement and this desire to win, everybody else looks at you like you're f***ed up. And they'll tell you that too. You know, what the f*** is wrong with you? Like, why can't you just relax? Why can't you just do this? Because I'm just not built that way, man. And as I've gotten a little bit older, I've gotten better at accepting it. And it's sort of embracing the fact that this provides a lot of good, but there's a lot of things that you have to deal with that aren't so good.
You don't know where you are, you don't know what to do. Start moving in some direction, and that'll give you some clues or some indication or some immediate feedback about where you are, and you can start assembling a better picture of what's happening. But that reframing the way you're looking at things and seeing opportunities instead of seeing punishments, and instead of seeing downturns in your life, seeing opportunities, it's just going to have such a much better impact on the way where you get to.
What are you going to do? How bad do you want it? There's two options: to continue forward, pushing upward. And if you do, that dream is given birth, and forever you will live in the reality of it. If you stop, quit, throw in the towel, I promise you there's no distance you can travel far enough to find that dream again. For it is dead. And in its death, it's replaced by regret.
The problems in your life are your own dang fault. And so the answer into fixing the problems in your life are in your own dang hands. The responsibility for the well-being of your family, your wife, your husband, your children are yours. Are yours.
If you ever see me in a Rolls Royce, a private plane, a 6 or 7-star hotel, living my life to the fullest, don't hate on me. Don't get jealous of me, because I work my ass off to get it. Everything about my life and career, I've earned it. Ain't nobody gave me shit. Nobody handed me nothing. If you want it, go get it.
And it's so true. I mean, when you think about, like, I'm 54 years old right now. Like that. I mean, it just fucking flew by. And you think when you're young that you have all this time. You have no time. There's no time. I mean, one of the quotes on the wall in the gym in there is, you know, there is no tomorrow. From Rocky 3, you know, there is no tomorrow. That shit. Let's get all this shit done today.
The most important decision you can make above any on the face of the earth is deciding that no matter what happens in your life, no matter what happens, you're going to live in a beautiful state. What the hell does that mean? It means that you're not going to suffer. It means a beautiful state is that you're going to be happy, but that's only one. Or you're going to feel creative, or you're going to be passionate, or you're going to be in awe of something, or you're going to feel love. Any state that's a beautiful state is really the core essence of who you are without fear.
You better go out there and do it yourself. You know, don't fucking wait around and wait for someone to hand deliver something. Go make it happen. You know, the fish don't just jump in the boat. If you want to go catch them, go catch them. You know, throw that line in the water and go do some work. And if it doesn't work that day, do it again the next day.
So sometimes when you think you're making the wrong decision, or you have to making the toughest decision because you're thinking about somebody else and the consequences, if you think the price of winning is too high, wait till you get the bill from regret. And that bill from regret is generational. And there's a lot of people listening to this that bill has been passed on from generation to generation, and you are holding that bill right now. And somebody in one of your generations has to pay that bill off.
And don't be afraid of what other people say about you for doing that. Because, when people say it's not cool or whatever, well, who defines what is cool or what isn't cool? This is just about you, your career, your passion. And if other people, mock you for being different, then I would rather be mocked for being different than being safe.
True desire in the heart, that itch that you have, whatever it is you want to do, that thing that you want to do to help others and to grow and to make money, that desire, that itch, that's God's proof to you, sent beforehand already to indicate that it's yours. And anything you want good, you can have. So claim it. Work hard to get it. When you get it, reach back. Pull someone else up. Each one, teach one.
So whenever it gets nasty, David Goggins goes, we had nobody anyway, motherfucker. So see how I'm talking myself right now? That's me. That fires me the fuck up. That makes me fucking nuts. You had nobody anyway. Look around you. There was no team. It was you. There was no weight loss program or mom and dad waking you up saying you can do it, you can be better, trying to build belief. You built belief when you had nothing. Rock bottom. You did that. So as times get hard for me, the truth comes out. And my truth is powerful as it's real. It's tangible. I feel it. It comes out of my brain as I speak about it. I'm reliving every single dark moment of my life to be here.
Every single person that I know that is incredibly successful in a balanced way and has a good perspective on it elects to do very hard things regularly.
The path of least resistance never makes you happy. It's like, you have to push yourself. When people talk about self-esteem, I hate this term. Like, so many kids were taught to get a participation trophy for something, and they thought, I'm gonna build their self-esteem this way. People can tell your whole life you're a piece of crap, and your brain can go, screw you, I'll show you, and you become somebody. People your whole life can tell you you're beautiful, you're perfect, you're the best, and you can still not believe them and be depressed about your life and think you're nobody. Your life self-esteem, your self-esteem, esteem for yourself, is earned by you doing something difficult for you.
If you could change the way you wake up in the morning, stop saying, I got to go to work, I got to work out, I gotta get this weight off of me, I gotta go and meet with the people at the school, I gotta deal with my coworkers. Change one word in that sentence and everything about your life changes. I get to wake up in the morning. I get to go to work. I get to go and meet with these people today. When you say I got to, you take all of your opportunities and all of your blessings and you wrap them up in stress by saying I got to. You take all the stress off of it when you say, I get to.
I work hard now, so the second half of my life, I can do whatever the fuck I want. That's been my mentality. It's like, I'm not going to trick off my early years for partying and then worry about struggling, how I'm going to make it, how I'm going to take care of my family, how I'm going to take care of everybody else. Like, that's not going to be me. I'm going to grind it out now. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to set up the foundation so I can enjoy myself later. That's always been my mentality, and that works for me.
If life was nothing but green lights and we didn't have yellows and reds, things that make us pause, hardships, crises, times for introspection, then what the hell would it all be for? We need the yellows and the reds. That's how we evolve. That's how hopefully there's some ascension to our being. That's how we give some credit to time and growing older. If we were the same person today that we were 20 years ago, then what the hell are we doing?
When they look at you, they not looking at you seeing everything you went through and what you became. When they look at you, they see everything that they're not.
I'll say honestly, just lock in, man. I think the biggest thing nowadays, everybody has social media and stuff, and like, sometimes you just gotta put the phone down. Sometimes you gotta figure out who you are. And I see people all the time, like, how do you figure out what you wanna do? And like, I got big dreams to be rich and famous or just rich, but I just don't know what to do. I got so many things I wanna do. A lot of people don't like remove themselves from the crowd, or like you'll never put down the weed, or you never put down the alcohol, or you got to really remove yourself from all this stuff, and like maybe put down your phone for once, just think and like just sit back. And sometimes it might make you cry. You might be to go into some deep depression shit, but it'll trigger that thing in your brain to think and to figure out what you really want to do.
Nobody is perfect. People are gonna tell you you're perfect just the way you are. You're not. You are imperfect. You always will be, but there is a powerful force that designed you that way. And if you're willing to accept that, you will have grace. And grace is a gift. And like the freedom that we enjoy in this country, that grace was paid for with somebody else's blood. Do not forget it.
You know, if you're going to create anything of value in this life, you're going to, even if it's with other people, you're going to have to be willing to be on your own for a bit, to forage on your own, to take walks alone, and then return to people, to your tribe, so to speak, and share with them what you've learned, or maybe even just show up with whatever energy shift has occurred while you were off.
That's mental health, to be able to celebrate yourself and to be able to give yourself some credit. And I feel like that was a great statement for those going through mental health, because we always depend on confirmation, or we depend on someone to make us feel like we're worthy or we're validated, when in actuality, you should thank yourself for being validated, because you're the one that got to get up every day and do this and walk this walk, talk this talk, and do what you do to be you. So thank yourself, pat yourself on the back.
Survive it any way you can. Pray, cry, scream, holler, yell, crawl, collapse, faint, get up, rinse, and repeat. But the only thing I ask you to do is, when life hits you in the gut, survive. When they say you won't make it, cry if you must, but survive. When they fire you and you don't know where you're going to get your next meal from, hold your head up, your back straight, and survive.
Stress primarily comes from not taking action over something that you can have some control over. So if I find that some particular thing is causing me to have stress, that's a warning flag for me. What it means is there's something that I haven't completely identified, perhaps in my conscious mind, that is bothering me, and I haven't yet taken any action on it. So stress comes from ignoring things that you shouldn't be ignoring, I think in large part. So
just go and do it, try, learn from it. You'll fail at some things. That's a learning experience that you need so that you can take that on to the next experience. And don't let people who you may respect and who you believe know what they're talking about, don't let them tell you it can't be done. Because often they will tell you it can't be done, and it's just because they don't have the courage to try it.
You gotta want it first. Then you gotta work it. Then you have the opportunity to win it. But it all starts with your want. You gotta want this. I can't want this for you. You gotta want this like no other. Then the work has to happen. And see, the work and the want gotta add up together to want each other. Then that puts you in the position to win. Ain't nobody giving you no W. You gotta go take that thing, man.
But I think my belief in God started again. I believed in something. There's something stronger than us.
Yes.
When I started doing comedy.
Yeah.
Because the universe takes care of you.
Yes.
In magnificent ways. It's not just about the talent and you making people laugh. It takes care of you when you put the effort in. It takes care of you when you take care of other people. That's when you see the love of God.
I think you have to work every single day. I think that's where your confidence comes from. Because when nobody's looking, that's the time that really counts. That's the time that really matters.
Yo, if you don't start getting honest with yourself, you're gonna die a liar. Stop lying to yourself and stop volunteering those lies to others. And I think a lot of us do that, a lot. Like we lie to ourselves and then we just volunteer those lies to other people. Like nobody even asked us, and I think social media, contributes to a lot of that, because every day you feel like you have to, feed this beast. And you might go look at your feed and at some point you gotta ask yourself, who is this person? Or just the things that you say to people, in your life as you're just growing and evolving just as a human.
I'm obsessed with finding myself now after and not having to prove anything to anybody other than myself and my family, but really myself. And realizing that is enough. You know what I'm saying? Like giving your best is enough. And sometimes we lose track of that, And so for anybody out there, you're enough, man.
And now here's my last question. My very last question on the questions to ponder is why not now? There never was a better time. Take this dream and not let it die. Take this dream and give it life. Take this dream and breathe into it your own personal spirit until finally it becomes a flame that burns around the whole world. Let's go do it now.
Just be the best version of yourself in anything that you do. You don't have to live anybody else's story. Sometimes people make it seem like you have to have certain prerequisites or a crazy life story in order to be successful in this world. But the truth is you really don't. It doesn't matter where you come from, what you have or don't have, what you lack, what you have too much of, but all you need to have is faith in God, an undying passion for what you do, or what you choose to do in this life, and a relentless drive and the will to do whatever it takes to be successful.
Maybe your purpose in life isn't related to your job. Maybe your job is your job, and the job is the thing that supports you. And then the rest of your waking hours are devoted to your purpose, whatever that is. And it's beautiful when it happens, but it doesn't always happen, and it's out of our control also.
Yeah.
We can decide. I would say if you need to have a job to support yourself, that's great. That's a noble thing to do. And follow your dreams. But I'm not saying they're one thing.
Yes.
They don't have to be one thing. And don't let following your dreams undermine your ability to support yourself.
Contemplate the price you pay for inaction. So I think a lot of the time we presume that inaction has no cost, that it's like an impartial strategy, and it can cause us to continue to mañana decisions. But it does. Inaction does have a cost, because your attention is the most important thing that you have. And it's not time. People think that time is the most important resource you have in life. It's not. It's attention. Because you can spend your time in ways where your attention is captured such that you didn't enjoy the time or realize the time has passed. So contemplate the price that you pay for inaction. It's a justification for you doing things sooner rather than later and committing.
And you're going to fail. 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 And then you're going to win. And that's life. Life without those challenges, it's just existence. Don't just exist. Go live. Eventually, inaction will cost you. Just get up, move towards that challenge, whatever that challenge is. Move towards that challenge and go attack it. And you may be successful and you may not be successful, but you will be better.
Life is a range of emotions. To not want to experience something, one, is inevitable, but two, it's the fear of the pain that comes attached to that you don't want. When you understand that that's naturally a part of life, you embrace it and you navigate through it, because that's what life has to offer you. And the fact that you're alive and you get to experience it is the gift, whether it at the time seems enjoyable or not. You chase things that you can't catch. You don't chase things that belong to you. Yeah. Right? So people chase happiness because they think that that's what they need, when in reality, happiness is just a byproduct of becoming the best version of yourself. So instead of chasing the emotion, become the type of person that is experiencing that emotion, and you can be in that state more consistently.
As your courage grows so that you can confront more and more of the horror of life, that a spirit begins to develop within you that gives you a strength that's commensurate with your daring. That's walking with God. That's the same thing. So the promise is that if you had the courage, something would be with you to allow you to bear up nobly under the burden.
Life is
a crazy roller coaster, especially this life, you know. So we've ups, we've downs, but I find I'm at my best when I set out, when I say, and when I must do something, and I know I must do it, and I do it. I execute it.
Justice is when you get what you deserve. Mercy is when you don't get what you deserve. He said, but grace is different from both of them. Grace is when you get what you don't deserve. Do you understand that? God has this thing that he passes out called grace. He passes it out and he gives you things you don't deserve.
I don't care who you are, how much money you have, what you have going on. When you get out of bed every day, life is standing right there to punch you in the mouth. And, you know, you have to overcome all these different struggles in life every day. Right. I actually love when adversity is thrown at me and I have to deal with this stuff. And it's one of my favorite things to do. So I'm a little sick and twisted, and I like the conflict every day. I like powering through the challenges that life throws at you every day. It's like one of my favorite things to do.
I found out that your worst enemy is you and your ability to stay true to the thing that you want to do. If you lie to yourself and cheat yourself, well, then you're not fooling anybody but yourself. But if you actually get up every day and you got that action and you got that energy that's like, I have to go and do this because I'm trying to get here. And you know every day you're working towards that, well, you're going to get there. It may take you longer, some may do it shorter, but you're not going to lose.
There's two pains in life, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. He goes, discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons, you know? And
Yeah,
so
well
I've trained myself to do that. First thing I do is always whatever's the most difficult.
Yes.
Because then you have momentum for your day. And when you train your brain to do what's difficult first, then emotional fitness just comes naturally. And more importantly, so does achievement, so does your ability to contribute to other people.
The human mind can only really grow through resistance. You can only strengthen your character and become a really strong person inside if you have resistance, if you fail, if you get up again, and if you work hard, and if you work your ass off, and if you struggle. The more you struggle, the further you're going to go and the stronger you're going to get. So that's just the way the rule works. Anyone that tries to baby themselves and pamper themselves and trying to protect themselves, oh, I don't want to feel bad, oh, I don't really want to go through any discomfort, it's over. You're never going to get there. That's just the way it is. I mean, you have to be able to struggle, and if you're not able to, work on that you're learning how to accept pain, misery, and discomfort, all of the things that you don't like, because the more you experience the things that you really don't like, the more you can grow, and the tougher you get, and the more you can handle.
Just because something is hard to obtain does not mean that it is valuable.
Just because something is hard to obtain doesn't mean it's valuable.
Correct. Yeah, just because it's difficult to get doesn't mean that it's valuable. Look at the car he's driving, look at the watch he's wearing, look at the girl he's with. These things were hard to obtain, so you presumed that they were valuable, but you didn't realize that what's genuinely valuable are friendships and relationships and a comfort and a confidence in yourself and peace of mind and sanity and being able to positively impact the people around you.
So motivation isn't what we are relying on, and we can't rely on motivation because, like I said, if you and I got to get in the water to go conduct an operation, the motivation to do that will be zero, might even be -9, might be -12, might be -1,000, and you know what? Doesn't matter. You and I are going to go do what we have to do. You have to train yourself. You have to train the soldier in your mind to obey those direct orders when they come, and that is the foundation of discipline. I'm scared, I'm afraid, I'm nervous, I'm hesitant, I'm not sure if I want to do this, I'm second guessing, all those little things. They're just overridden by one thing and one thing only, discipline, and that's what it's going to take.
I think there's many, many meanings of life. I think there's a way to navigate life that's enjoyable. I think it requires many things. It requires, first of all, it requires love. You have to have loved ones, you have to have family, you have to have friends, you have to have people that care about you, and you have to care about them. I think that is primary. Then it also requires interests. There has to be things that stimulate you. Now, it could be just a subsistence lifestyle. There's many people that believe and practice this lifestyle of just living off the land and hunting and fishing and living in the woods. and they seem incredibly happy. If you don't have that, I think you need something that is interesting to you, something that you're passionate about. And there's far too many people that get sucked into living a life where you're just doing a job. You're just showing up and putting in your time and then going home, but you don't have a passion for what you're doing. And I think that's the recipe for a boring and very unfulfilling life.
We're built to walk uphill. And when you reach the pinnacle of the hill, you want to stop and appreciate the vision, but the next thing you want is a higher hill in the distance, because it's from the uphill climb that we derive our value. And I mean this technically. So almost all the positive emotion we feel, that's experienced in relationship to a goal. And so in some sense, you want a goal that you can never attain, right? So you can always move closer to the goal that recedes as you move towards it. You think, well, that's frustrating. It's like Sisyphus pushing the rock uphill. But it's not, because as you pursue that goal, you put yourself together and your life does get better and richer and more abundant.
And so as long as you can be in a place where you're constantly looking to the next place, and you don't let anything get in the way of that or hinder that, then you have a really good chance to be everything you ever wanted to be in life.
Perfection does not exist. I do firmly stand on that and believe that. Absolutely. It doesn't exist, man. You should try your hardest to get things right. In moments where you got them wrong, figure out how to never get them wrong again. That's the world of compromise. That's the world of growth. That's the world of evolvement.
I think the easiest thing in life is to give up on whatever you're focused on or whatever you're hopeful for. The hardest thing is to continue to keep going, but we have to. We have to continue to hold on. And I would imagine for so many people out there, that is probably the most difficult thing.
You don't need enemies. Compete against you.
Like that.
Once you compete against you, you're gonna always win, because you're trying to get better every day. So you in competition all the time. Them enemies over there take you off your course. Now you start thinking like them, you start doing goofy shit like them, and now you're not you. As long as you remain you, and you competing with you every day, you're gonna get better. You're gonna get great, you're gonna master you.
Listen, man, I didn't take life serious till I was 32. One day at 32, I found myself fucking broke. I mean, living from fucking garbage can to mouth, pretty much. You know, had a refrigerator that only had Snapple in it and beer. Never was there food in that fucking thing. I lived in a one-bedroom, pretty much studio apartment. I had a TV, I had cable, but I was living like Rocky Balboa, which there's nothing wrong like that. But they didn't put you on this planet just to give up.
When you're dealing with somebody that love you for you and want you to be happy, I mean, you start doing things that make yourself happy. When you always living to please others, you're gonna always be in a constant state of depression because you're never doing nothing for you. When you start doing things for you to make you happy, then you can make somebody else happy because you're happy.
It's really just a journey of evolution every day. It's just constant improvement, constant curiosity, constantly getting better. The results don't really matter. It's the figuring out that matters. You're out running on a track, working out, and you start talking to yourself saying, man, my knee is really sore right now. Maybe I'm doing too much. Maybe I need to back off, you know. Man, my lungs are burning. And maybe I can just slow down here. I'll do like an extra 2 sets tomorrow. You know, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
Right? That sort of stuff.
Yes.
Like that stuff's dangerous.
Yes.
And that's when you just gotta say, you know what? I'm not negotiating with myself.
Yeah.
The deal was already made. The deal was made when I set out at the beginning of the summer and said, this is the training plan I'm doing. I signed that contract with myself. I'm doing it. You know, throughout that process, you'll start talking to yourself like, man, I think I need to, maybe if we, nope. No, this is non-negotiable.
Yeah, non-negotiable.
There's a saying, when the devil ignores you, then you know you're doing something wrong. Wait a minute, I'm not done now. You know, the devil goes, oh no, leave him alone. Hey, he's my favorite. Conversely, when the devil comes at you, maybe it's because you're trying to do something right.
You need to love pain to be an athlete. And I know, no pain, no this, whatever, all the, you know, the, oh my No, this is real. You need to love pain. However, mentally, physically, love it. You need to love it. If not, stay where you are.
You ever had a gut feeling that maybe you were meant for more, but you weren't really sure what the next best steps were to achieve it? Me too. So what's your more? What's your destination? And I'm not talking about just more money or more things. I'm also talking about more love, more joy, more choice, more balance, more trust. What's your more?
You will never feel ready to do things that scare you. You will never feel ready to jump off the cliff. You will never feel ready to take that leap. And the reason why is based on science and research. Your brain is designed to protect you, and change requires risk. And so you are protecting yourself by saying maybe tomorrow.
You gotta be willing to do the work. You can speak about it all day. The easiest thing in the world to do is to complain, blame, and quit and settle. That's the easiest thing in the world to do. But it takes real work to deconstruct and to reconstruct the thought process and the mindset of an individual when they're trying to change something. That's why I always say to people, what's more important? What we acquire or who we become, right? What's more important, what we acquire or who we become? Materialistic, superficial, it's cool. But the people that we become, the thoughts we think, the words we speak, that's something that's gonna travel with us forever.
More men realizing that it's not just about the car, the watch, the possessions, working until my eyes bleed. Obviously, the finance is what most people think about, right? Well, if I just make good money, I'll be a good provider as a man. Most men think that they're relegated to just being a provider. But there's more to being a man, you know. There is more to being a man. What about a level of faith, as in confidence in yourself, faith in a higher power, that there's a path for you, right? Faith in your friends and your circle of influence.
I don't care if I lose everything. I don't care what happens. Nothing really is ours anyway in life. We only borrow it till we die, and it all goes. The only thing we truly own in this life is moments in time. Like, this is a moment in time for me that will never be erased. And no matter what happens, this is always going to be my time. This will be my moment in time because I lived here and I was a part of this. You know, everything else, this bag, this watch, these clothes, they will all go. What does it really matter?
Should is just like the expectation motor of like all of our psyches. You should go to school. You should get a degree. You should do this job. You should marry her. You shouldn't stay up so late. You shouldn't work so hard. You should be more balanced. You shouldn't be working out so much. You're not working out. Like, there's all these shoulds that other people tell us. And it's like, and you zoom out and then you see that it's a galaxy with a little dot of dust. It's like, should what? There is no should. Do what you want to do.
You should be convinced in your heart that you're doing the best you can with what you've been given, right? And hopefully that'll make you less anxious and it'll make you more hopeful. But, you know, you should have the same kind of regard for yourself that you have for someone that you love. And that's not pride. It would be lovely if you could orient your thoughts to yourself so that you could allow yourself to be pleased if you thrived.
Why are you waiting for somebody else to believe in you and to have more control? You got to gamble on yourself. You got to know that, hey, listen, when I gamble on myself, I have the utmost confidence. I know what the outcome is going to be. Put your health in your own hands. Put winning in your own grasp. Don't wait for somebody else to hand it to you. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your abilities. Not only do you have to believe in them, you have to work in them. You have to excel in them. You have to understand them. If you're not willing to gamble on yourself, I'm not going to gamble on you.
You have to work harder than you think you possibly can. You can't hold grudges. It's hard, but you can't hold grudges. And it doesn't matter how you get knocked down in life, because that's going to happen. All that matters is that you got to get up.
Playing out the fear, Layla says this, and I love it, but that fear is a mile wide and an inch deep. And so it looks like this ocean that you're going to step into and drown. But as soon as you step into it, you realize it was not that deep at all, and you can keep walking through it. And I just love that visual, because a lot of times when it's like we have this anxiety around this big decision we have to make, if you actually take the step and realize that It's not death. You're not going to drown immediately. There's plenty of other steps you can take from there, even if you get a little wet.
You have to sacrifice. You have to sacrifice your lower self to your higher self in order for you to proceed in a healthy manner, to be resilient, but also for you to participate in the covenant that would make for a united society.
You're afraid that if you put your heart and soul into it and you fail, then how are you going to feel about yourself? Right? So being fearless means putting yourself out there and going for it. No matter what, go for it. Not for anybody else, but for yourself.
You are a lazy, unprofessional, mean attitude having mother. And yet, when things are not happening good for you, when things are not coming your way, when things are not happening as fast as you want them to happen, you blame everybody else and what they're doing and saying, and you completely disown everything that you're doing to contribute to your career not going to another level. But yet you're fully committed to sabotaging yourself and your career. Then you're sitting back stressed out and depressed, wondering why. Why ain't things happening? That's the answer. I just gave it to you. It's about as real as it gets. The question is, what are you gonna do next week, 2 weeks from now? You're in your own way. You are the reason your career is not on the next level. Nobody else but you.
No matter what a man says, is what he does in the end that he intended to do all along. A lot of people say things. You just have to give them a minute to let them show you eventually what they really meant by it.
I'm at this place in my life, you know, professionally and personally, where any type of negativity, I cut it out of my life. I cut people out like cancer. If you are a negative sack of shit, okay, you're gone. You're out of here. I don't deal with it.
There's nothing you can buy in a shopping mall that you will give a about in 10 years. Nothing. There's nothing for you there. Fast forward, do something for you in 5 years' time. Don't buy the thing. You don't need it.
Being hard on yourself is not motivating. It's demotivating. And if you already feel like a failure, or you feel a sense of shame, or you're overwhelmed, beating yourself up for where you are does not work. It drives you into the gutter. The most motivating force in the world, on the planet, based on research, hands down, is empowerment, encouragement, support, and celebration. And for our entire lives, we have outsourced that to somebody else.
I'm a big believer that you should only listen to somebody or take advice from people who have bigger dreams for your life than you do. And I think most people don't have bigger dreams for you, which just means that for me, like, their advice is invalid. I think that, like, in the dark times that you will inevitably have in life, like, having someone who believes in you is just everything. It can be everything.
Don't ever think or believe that you gotta smoke what they smoke, drink what they drink, wear what they wear, be a part of whatever it is they may be doing. And guess what? If it's considered something negative to me, but yet you're doing it and it makes you happy, I want you to do what makes you happy. Live your life.
It's about the disciplined execution on a day-by-day basis. It's not some big play. It's not get lucky. It's not talent. It's win the day. And when you win the day, you win tomorrow. And when you win tomorrow, you win the next day. There's actually no upper ceiling when it comes to that. It's not talent. It's not skill. It really is how long do you want to execute, and at what level do you want to execute?
There's two pains in life, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. He goes, discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons, you know? And
Yeah,
so
well
I've trained myself to do that. First thing I do is always whatever's the most difficult.
Yes.
Because then you have momentum for your day. And when you train your brain to do what's difficult first, then emotional fitness just comes naturally. And more importantly, so does achievement, so does your ability to contribute to other people.
Doubt is such a strange thing. I mean, it's, you know, there'll be times where you succeed and there are times that you fail. So wasting your time doubting whether you're going to be successful or not is pointless. It is. I mean, you just put one foot in front of the other, you control what you can't control, and then you see what the outcome is, right? If you win, great. You're going to have to wake up the next day and do the journey over again. If you lose, it sucks, but you're going to have to wake up the next day and do the journey all over again anyway.
right? So it's really pointless to sit here and debate or have doubt or this, that, and the other. You train as hard as you can, and you step out there and you let it flow.
I mean, you'll know this, it's lonely at the top, you know, but it's not if you bring the right people with you, the people that came up with you, the people that, you know, love you for you, you know, the people that know you from before you had money, before you were famous, you know. So I like to have them around to keep me grounded and just make sure I'm solid. Well, you can't enjoy the sunshine without a little rain, and everything is temporary. Everything's forever changing. So even right now, I'm happy. I'm enjoying life. I love where I'm at. I love who I'm around. I love who I'm with. You know, I know it's not lasting, because guess what? Something's gonna happen that's gonna shake that up.
When I die, people will be dividing up my assets, arguing over who gets what. There's gonna be a caterer at my funeral. Some people won't make it because something came up and they got busy. And then the few people that are there are probably no one that I have in my life right now. And the fact that every single person that I have in my life might not even make it to the funeral to speak over me while I'm dead. It's like, why on earth would I listen to them while I'm alive? Like, they can't even make it to probably the single most important personal day of someone's life is someone's funeral, right? The one time you can pay your last respect, and they don't even do that. And so it's like, why would I give any weight to what these people are doing when they're not even going to be there on the day that matters most?
You have a brain, you have a mind, you have a mental model. You can't think of everything, you can't do everything. You can only have certain frameworks instilled inside of your mind. As a man, you should be hyper competitive. You should try and be the best version of yourself you can be. You're competing against every other man on earth for the girl you want, the car you want, the house you want, the watch you wear. It's all competition. You should be as competitive as you possibly can. Anything that's inside of your mind which doesn't allow you to be competitive should be erased. This is why I can't name a weakness. I can't name a weakness I have. I've compensated so heavily for any weakness that may exist, I don't even see them anymore.
And here's the thing, man, I don't remember the last time I lost sleep over a hater. I worked too hard for everything I got for me to be out here worried about what a hater's talking about in my comments. Like, are you serious? I'ma laugh at you and ask that chef to run that back.
I mean, what makes people happy? Progress. If you get some big goal, you're gonna achieve a lot of them in your life, right? There's one of two responses when you achieve the goal. The horrible one is this all there is? Which a lot of people do after fighting for a goal, and is this all there is?
Oh, yeah.
But the other one is, let's say, oh, this is amazing. How long does that amazing feeling of achieving your goal last? 6 years? A year? 6 months?
You don't find out who people really are till the shit hits the fan. And
in that sense, it's useful.
100%. People talk a lot of, how much they care about their employees or how good a friendship is or how good a relationship is, but you really don't know until you hit hard times.
You need to work on yourself. If you just try to be pampered, and if you're trying to be soft, and if you're trying to be the victim and all stuff, you're not gonna go anywhere. We need to get stronger. We need to get bossier. We need to get tougher. We need to not be afraid of failure. We got to go into the work. We got to face adversity. Adversity breeds character. It's strength and fighting and resistance. It does not only make the muscle grow, but it makes also your head grow, makes you a stronger person. We have to be willing to go through hardship, through suffering, through pain, through crying periods. All of that stuff, don't shy away from any of that because it just makes you stronger.
Start with action and make small promises to yourself that you don't break. If you had a friend and every single time that you and your friend decided that you were going to go out for dinner, that friend either showed up 2 hours late or didn't show up at all, you would stop trusting that person. That is the relationship that you have with yourself. You need to be able to trust your own word. And a lot of us don't, because life is very convenient and it is easy for people to not stick to the promises that they set themselves, because our ability to be idealistic is always going to outstrip reality's ability to deliver that to us. As soon as you posit an ideal, you then begin to compare yourself to that ideal. And true hell is when the person that you are meets the person that you could have been.
Man, if I want to be good, I gotta wake up in the morning, I gotta do the extra work. And I gotta show up when other guys aren't. And I've gotta learn, I've gotta continue to be open to learning. Focus on what you can control. Focus on what you're getting, not what anyone else is getting. Whenever you get an opportunity, you take advantage of it. You treat it like it's the Super Bowl. You treat it like it's game day. Go out there and treat practice like no one else does.
Everybody knows you got to pay a price for winning, but most people aren't willing to pay it. They may pay it once, but literally you got to pay it every single day. And the crazy part about that is the price changes daily. Just like the stock market goes up and down, the price of winning changes on a daily basis. And you got to be willing to pay that price, whatever it is on that day.
As soon as you, as a person, decide that you're not gonna lie anymore, and that whatever problem that you have, you're gonna deal with that problem right then where it presents itself, it'll show you a whole new side of you.
The reality of life is this: the world's relentless, and it will not stop beating your ass until you wake up and start beating it back. And you know, when I see self-love and all, I do understand where they're coming from. Those people are talking to people who are on the brink, right? Yep. And they think their entire world's crumbling, and they're telling them it's okay. But I actually think that's the wrong message. I think the right message is this: hey, this is how it is if you don't go hard. This is what you're going to get if you do not try hard to develop yourself and get off the bench and get in the game. And I say that out of a place of love and caring for people.
What has been a lesson you wish you learned earlier in life?
Being unapologetically honest with what you want. And that goes across the board. I was trying to think of something that kind of across the board. If you can communicate your truth and not worry so much about how somebody's going to react to what you say. Because a lot of times the fear of how somebody's going to react to what you really want to say is what stops you from saying it sometimes. And you find another way, or you put it off, or you don't say it, and then maybe the situation doesn't change, and you get frustrated and upset with why this thing doesn't change, because you kind of maybe might not have said it the way you wanted to say it, you know? And I think there's a way to be unapologetically and still be respectful.
You play the game with zero sleep. Zero sleep. Zero sleep. It's like, kids, Natalia had a certain, health situation or what have you, and you're staying up all night, and then you got to go out and perform because fans don't know, teammates don't know, nor do they care, nor should they, that you've been up all night. You got to perform, right? And so you just got to go to work, man. Yeah, you got to lead by example. As parents, you got to lead by example. If you want your kids to do whatever it is they want to accomplish in life, you have to show them. You can't. You got to show them. And that's what I tried to do.
Pain is temporary. It may last for a minute, or an hour, or a day, or even a year. But eventually, it will subside, and something else will take its place. If I quit, however, it will last forever.
But if you believe that you're good at what you do, and you strive to be good at what you do, you don't need to worry about what other people think. You need to be able to understand that you have your own confidence that you can do whatever it is you're required to do, and other people will see that confidence in you. The minute you start doubting yourself, other people will see that you're doubting yourself, and that becomes a weakness in your personality. So you always want to be confident in everything you do, that you can do it, you can get it done, you'll find a way to get it done.
When you were born, you are a phenomenon, you are unique. Your DNA has never occurred in the history of the universe, going back billions of years. It will never occur in the future. Your life experience with your parents and everything that you experience in your early years going on up is unique, it's yours. You're one of a kind, right? So that is your source of power. To waste that is just the worst thing you can do in your life. And what the power is finding that uniqueness, what makes you you, and how you can mine that, and how you can go deep into it and use that to create a career path.
Man, who are you when it goes south, man? Not when you get what you want. We know when the sun's shining and you get what you want, you gonna smile. Right. Babies do that. I give them a bottle, they gonna smile. I give them what they want, they gonna smile. I give a puppy a snack, he gonna smile. But when you don't get what you want, when it doesn't go the way you want it to, even if it affects and impacts you on a physical level, who are you? Right? Because that's the person that your kids are gonna learn from. That's the person that your parents raised. That's the person that will go out and either positively or negatively affect and impact the world. Who are you?
I think the easiest thing in life is to give up on whatever you're focused on or whatever you're hopeful for. The hardest thing is to continue to keep going, but we have to. We have to continue to hold on. And I would imagine for so many people out there, that is probably the most difficult thing.
If you will change, everything will change for you. You don't have to change what's outside. All you've got to change is what's inside. To have more, you simply have to become more. And then he said, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills. Start working on yourself, making these personal changes, and he said it'll all change for you.
Do you be yourself and make sure that you love being yourself. And it's gonna be roadblocks, it's gonna be tribulations, but always remember this is a life experience. Accept the experience, appreciate the experience, and learn how to move on from things that don't serve you well, and find your journey.
Be grateful. Be grateful for every single second. The goods, the bads, the ups, the downs, and learn from everything, not only from your mistakes. Learn from everything. Learn from your highest points, your everything. And again, be grateful. Be grateful for why you can't figure it out. Can't understand why you're so fucking awesome. Can't figure out why you're so great. Can't figure out why you're so ahead of your time. Can't figure out why you have answers to things that no one even knows the question to. Be grateful for that.
So you have to work off this mentality of, I have to be undeniably the best person in my role to where it's impossible to ignore. That's what undeniable means. Impossible to ignore. And when you're impossible to ignore, you're valuable, whether you're valuable here or there or anywhere else. If you can cultivate this mindset where you are that kind of contributor, you will get paid, you will win, and your career will progress. And anything less than that, you won't.